Hello, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Follow Everton. My name is Ryan, the channel administrator, and I'm here to talk about all the latest Everton news and transfer news. Of course, straight away, Everton are set to announce the signing of Udinese striker. Well, he's no longer an Udinese player, but striker from Udinese, Beto. I only know him as Beto. He's one of those. He's like a Richarlison. He's only got one name. But he's a 25-year-old striker, Portuguese. He's on the cusp of the international setup there. He was actually part of they had a 55-man preliminary squad for the World Cup in 2022, if I remember rightly. So he's on the cusp, he's on the fringes of breaking through to the international setup for Portugal. So he's a player, he's probably had quite a lot of development in Italy over the last 2 seasons where he scored, I think, 22 goals or 21 goals. In the league, and is looking to make that step up into the Premier League, earn better wages, play for a bigger club, and I imagine has ambitions of breaking into that Portugal setup ahead of the European Championships next summer. He's a 6'4" striker, so he's physically, he's got that stature that I think Evertonians demand of a number 9 generally. He's quick as well. He's a little bit slow off the mark, but once he opens up his legs, the guy's really got a lot of pace, and I love that about him. It's almost Lukaku-esque. He's not fast over the short distances, but he's over the sort of the middle to longer sprints. He's outpacing most sort of centre backs, and is quite a good weapon for him. Lily the cat's about to walk across the screen. Bang on cue. This cat was bought a couple of days before Everton stayed up. You were going to be called Abby after Decore, weren't you? But we got vetoed. Anyway, so where was that with Beto? Yeah, pace. There's definite pace there. There's definite stature and strength there. His hold-up play also. I mean, I've watched clips, I've watched highlights, I've watched segments of games as well where he played last season. I've managed to find them, and you're looking at a player with really nice hold-up play. Some turns, he's good at turning and getting away from a defender and doing something a little bit different to try and create some space. So I really like that about him. His touch is good as well. He's not like a classic 6'4". Some would say, the good touch for a big man, all that sort of cliche. But his touch is fine. Technically, he's fine. His dribbling is good as well. It's probably above average. So all considered, I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but in terms of profile, it's similar to what Lukaku offered. Strong, quite quick, quite strong. Touch is decent, and he finishes well. And I think if you look at the amount of goals he scored for Udinese, yeah, you could say he's not prolific. 10 goals, maybe 11 or 11 goals, I think, in both 2 seasons. Around that, he's hit double figures. But in terms of minutes played, it's not an awful lot. It's probably the equivalent of like 25, 26 games per season. And the chance creation, I think the style in England would actually really suit him. So I think he will develop at Everton. He'll get better. He'll improve. And I do genuinely think he'll score at least 10 goals a season. I think possibly even 15. I think with the chances we're creating against the likes of Wolves and Fulham, I think he'd have scored in both of those games. So, you're looking at someone who's going to add the finishing touch. And for me, the biggest thing, and guys, I can see your comments coming in. I'll address them in a moment. The biggest thing for me is the mentality. How's this guy? He speaks English, by the way, perfect English, which you'll find in his interview tomorrow. But his English is fine. And is that mentality? Because if you look at Everton strikers over, say, the last 20 years, most of them have struggled. Even likes of Andy Johnson, 11 goals. I think he struggled the next season and went off to Fulham. Yakubu had one good season and then was never the same player. Louis Saha, I remember he went on barren runs. Then you've got the likes of Cenk Tosun, Umar Niasse. There's plenty of Runa Kone. A lot of strikers have just struggled. And I think Beto, what I want is a man, who's with a strong mentality. Excuse me, I shouldn't have had that nutty cereal bar before I came on stream. Literally couple of seconds before. It's absolute chaos trying to do these streams. You got cats running around, you're nearly choking. A man with a strong mentality who's not going to be afraid of adversity and is going to be able to miss chances and not let it affect him, and not let the crowd's anxiety, because the Goodison crowd is an anxious crowd a lot of the time. Yes, it can be boisterous. Yes, it can be bouncing. Yes, it can really spur a team on. But at the same time, it can be anxious. It can be nervous. And I hope he's got that mentality to be able to deal with that. And let's also be clear, Udinese to Everton is absolutely a step up. Everton is a much bigger club locally and globally. And so, it is a step up for him. Will he be able to adapt? Will he be able to settle quickly? The fact he speaks English is great. The fact, obviously, he speaks Portuguese is great. And he'll also be able to speak, I imagine, a bit of Italian. So, 3 languages there and possibly French. I think some of the background is as well is well, imagine he speaks French as well. So I'm confident he'll settle in off the pitch. Getting him in the team as a focal point. And what I don't really want to see him as an isolated number 9, kind of with his back to goal, chasing shadows. I want to see him being able to turn. I want to see him get on end of crosses, link up play, and have support. And let's just not have him as a statue up front. Let's utilize him and make this whole team function and play off him and use him as a complete focal point. So that's it. Everton about to announce the signing of Beto. It is done. As of now, the contract has been signed. The medical has been completed. They're probably going to announce it in the morning or tonight. I don't know. It'd be good if they could do it tonight. Fans need a lift, but it's unlikely. Probably be tomorrow with some video where they ask the same questions that they've asked the other people. And I'm sure it'll be a good listen. But, I probably would thrust him straight in against Doncaster. I really don't care. Playing League 2 opposition away from home. Get him in the squad. 4-4-2. Chimiti up top with Beto. Get Mope out on loan now or for sale. Same with Tom Cannon. And I think we've got enough options up top. I'd like to see Che Adams come in if possible as well. But I'm fairly confident with Calvert-Lewin, Beto and Chimiti that we've got some different options. Maybe Mope will stay because he's a little bit different and he just dropped deeper and he likes to link up play. But I definitely think Tom Cannon deserves the opportunity to go out on loan and develop. And I would like to see him sign a new contract before doing so as well, just to retain that value. But I'd chuck him in. I don't really care that he hasn't, trained with the club. I'm assuming he'll train tomorrow and be part of that squad for Doncaster. I think it'd be stupid not to. But knowing us, he won't play. And he'll be on the bench against Sheffield in a must-win game because we can simply not afford to be giving teams in the bottom 7 any points. And I look at the bottom 7 now, and in there, Bournemouth, Forest, Everton, Wolves, Burnley, Sheffield United, Luton. I think the teams that are in there will stay there throughout the whole season. Everton might finish top of that pile, we'd like to think. But I think there is a limit. Fulham could get dragged in there as well. I don't think much of them, and they've lost Mitrovic. But what my gut feeling at the moment is that the bottom 3 will be Sheffield United, Luton, and Burnley. And Wolves probably will be there or thereabouts because what I witnessed at Goodison was a poor team bailed out by a goalkeeper who was gifted plenty of opportunities to catch and make simple saves and good saves. And to be fair, one outstanding save, but we made it easy for him with the quality of our finishing. So, other teams are going to be more ridiculous. I'm delighted to be joined by a really good friend of mine. You never know. It's like an absolute pick a mix on Follow Everton, but you can be assured every person on here has something unique and interesting to say. None other than Mr. Robbie P. Let's change that camera, make it a little bit better. Hi, Robbie. How are you doing?
Evening, friend. Hiya, everyone.
Welcome. You got 70 people watching you live on this Bank Holiday Monday. We will have to acknowledge them in the comments in a moment. But first of all, your initial reaction to the news that Everton, it's done, Robbie. It's officially done. His contract signed. He's an Everton player, but it's not announced officially by the club. Yeah, I love that celebration. Tell me more. How are you feeling?
Well, he's a star already for wanting to come, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because
how have we managed to pull that deal off? You know the terms. You know the situation, don't you?
Yeah. I've looked at the terms. It's, to be honest with you, the don't look at the terms of every player that goes to different clubs, but I've never heard of that one before. So, well
Robbie,
done, Bill.
it's
Well
like
done, Bill.
Well, are we going to say it's Ken Wright? Ken Wright's not well; he's in hospital. Are we going to say it's like me saying I'll buy your car off you? You know,
But I'll
the
pay you
car you're
next year.
using, your car you're using, your car you're driving in, the car with a value to you. But is it okay? I'll give you the money in 12 months' time. I don't know you. I don't know you well enough to take the car. I'm not your son. You know, you're a football colleague. Not talking literally, but trying to give a good analogy to people to say that. How the hell have we managed to convince them?
Ryan, you can buy a 3-piece suite over 4 years these days, can't you?
So do you think it's an element of Udinese just being more of a smaller club, grateful to know they're getting that kind of cash flow in and accepting that it's a lot of money for a player who respectfully, and I'm trying to be really positive. I don't want any negativity, but has only scored 22 goals over 2 seasons. So they're probably thinking this is great business.
He's 25, isn't he?
Yeah.
Doesn't play for his national team yet.
Yeah, he was on the cusp. I don't know if you heard what I said before. He was part of the 55-man squad for the World Cup that got chopped. And he didn't go to the World Cup, but you imagine he wants to get into that squad for the Euros.
Yeah, we need a little bit of luck, Ryan, don't we? Like, I mean, we say it maybe every stream we do. Brighton have done it. So, you know, with Schmidt and Beto, maybe we've pulled out. We've said on previous streams, we're just looking for a little diamond, aren't we? So you can't blame us for trying on that one. I mean, it's a strange deal, but hey, we'll take it. The fact that Udinese have gone, yeah, go on, Everton. Yeah, we like you. I mean, I believe if you listen to the stories of Gerard Delafeu plays for Udinese now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And we loved him and he loved us. It was kind of, I did like him. I liked his skills. So word is on the street that he's put a word in and said, you know what, a cracking place. The fans are great and it's just a nice place to be because he loved it here. I don't think he wanted to leave. So
no, he's pushed out by
potentially grateful to Gerard. Just imagine if he hadn't have been treated so well, then I don't think we'd probably get the deal over the door, would we?
Just actually on the Delafeu one, I think Barcelona did the buyback clause, didn't they? And bought him back.
Yeah.
And then they used him and then they sold him. But yeah.
Which is quite unusual, isn't it, really?
Yeah. I think it's just unfortunate, probably, with that. You know, he showed some good spells at Watford and Udinese, but I imagine he did put a good word in for Everton, like Richarlison did to Dan Juma. 22 goals across 2 seasons is good. Obviously, Udinese are kind of like lower mid-table. Oh, what's going on there? We lost your light.
No, I've just put one of them special lights on that you told me to get. You know, with the camera in the middle.
Have you got the room light as well though? Because it's still dark.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
You've got that special light.
Got the special light.
And your phone's sitting in the middle.
Sitting in the middle.
Fantastic. It's fantastic. It looks a lot better.
Yeah.
So you know, he scored goals in a team that hasn't done well, and that's what he needs to do here: come in and score goals in a team that hasn't done well. And a big task, a big man has to do it, and certainly at 6'4", the physique is there, and hopefully the mentality.
Yeah, he's over the line. He'll be making his videos over the next 2 days, won't he? So it's that's another one over the line. It's who's next, because are we just talking about Beto, or are we talking about Demarai Gray leaving?
Oh, we will. We'll go on to that, in a moment. Yeah.
So made up. But I think we're made up to the fact that we've signed a number 9.
I know. It's unbelievable. I swear to God, I thought we were going to go into deadline day scratching around for a number 9, and you can hear it. Everton have had a bid rejected for Iheanacho at Leicester, loan, 15, and just scratching around, scraping around. It was Ben Berrett and Diaz, and it was Victor Gyökeres last January. It was them two, and we've scratched around for them and lost them. And I hope now Everton can finally restore some dignity in the fan base, because we deserve a lot more than what we had to endure over the past, you could say 2.5 years, but actually it's a lot longer, isn't it? Because even when we were reasonably good, it was always a false storm, and we were never quite, you'd get your hopes built up, but you could never quite get over the line. I'm going to, someone saying they're epileptic. I'm sorry, Blue Nose WKD. We like to keep it nice and bright and clear. That's the main thing. But Robbie's actually in quite a dark room. We're still working on things, guys. I'm going to go to the comments, and then Robbie, I've got a schedule here that I want to talk about, and on that is Demarai Gray, Harry Maguire, Bakayoko, and this centre back we've been linked with, Elvedi, the Swiss one. So I'm going to quiz you on these players, and you can pretend to know who they are. And it's like, don't ask me about the Swiss guy. I've never seen him before.
No. I'm all right on him. Just don't know too much about Bakayoko. I've kind of like not looked at him because it's a bit wishy-washy, if you know what I mean. So he's looking to go somewhere else, isn't he? Isn't he looking to go sort of into Milan or somewhere? So if he's got an option of Inter Milan, in all fairness,
PSG, Brentford, Burnley, they've all. But he's clearly available, but they don't want to let go of him till. After the Rangers one. I'm just going to welcome everyone to the stream. Thank you so much. You've been on here 20 minutes. I'm sure we'll be on here a little bit longer. And of course, thank you, Robbie, for jumping on. It's unfortunate that we had nearly 8,000 views on our post-match reaction for the Wolves game, and it takes such a heavy defeat to get traction. And there was like 120 new subscribers off the back of that video. We're nearly at 2,500 subscribers. If you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button, turn notifications on, and hit the thumbs up for us. It's completely free content, and I hope it's enjoyable content. I particularly enjoy doing it, and I know people find it extremely therapeutic, so make sure you do that for us. But I can see loads and loads of regulars: Emma, Eugene, David, Peter, Wormy, Richo, Amanda, David. Thank you so much, JT, Robbie in there. There's so many people in the comments. Jamie's in there, JT, Dat Boy, Mike Flynn's in there. Thank you so much for coming on. Mark Spurrier's in there. I really appreciate all of your support. I know there's better things. There's the better things you could be doing on a Monday night on bank holiday at this time. It's a bit boring, isn't it? Talking about Everton, you can't get away from it. So I'm going to pick out some comments to do with Beto, if that's okay, before we move on to the other transfer news. Stuart is saying he will need 6 weeks to get to Dyche fitness. Robbie, does this matter, really? Should we just? Do you think we need to? We just have to play him, don't we? He's going to get fit playing games and training with us.
Yeah, I mean, I've looked at some of his YouTube stuff. I mean, you have to, don't you, just to see. He's strong. He looks a fit lad. I don't know what his bleep test results are because it doesn't tell you that on Google. But okay, if it doesn't last 90 minutes. We can always bring our other strategic striker on Neil, can't we? So let's look at the positives. We've signed a striker, and Sheffield United. He's not going to play against Doncaster tomorrow, but if he signs before midday, he's eligible. But I wouldn't risk him.
Confirm he's eligible.
I wouldn't risk him against Dolly. I'd just save him now till the weekend. Let him see the setup. Let everyone give him a team ball.
What about just sticking him up top tomorrow and just saying, stick the ball in the goal for us? We'll create the chances.
Yeah, do you know? Right.
Do you think it's too early just to stick? I mean, it's League Two.
Well, it's not too early, but the further down the leagues you go, the more it becomes a little bit like Sunday League where they're kicking 7 bells out of you. So for me personally, I don't want to risk it. They're at the bottom of League Division 2. They've only got 1 point, so they're kind of in the same position as us. They'll want to try and turn us over, and those 50-50 balls, they'll be going in for them balls like with venom. So me personally, I wouldn't want to risk him tomorrow. I'd just say, listen, have a little look around, do a bit of training, meet your buddies, and then you're on the team sheet for Saturday against Sheffield United, because
Yeah.
that's massive.
I've just realised that Mabsy's giving me a ticket for Saturday for the Sheffield United away game. I'm working in the evening in Merseyside, but I'm kind of thinking, what have I signed up to there? What have I got myself into?
Yeah, we'll know, Ryan, won't we? Because it's, for me, it's not just Beto. Is it Beto or Beto?
Whatever you want to call him, mate.
It's not just him coming in. We've got other players coming in this week, so yeah. I think definitely. But we've got other players coming in, so we were devastated on Saturday, weren't we? After the game, but a couple of days again, and we go again, don't we? I'm quietly confident again that we're going to get out of this mess. So I'm happy.
I will talk about Doncaster. We'll get your team for Doncaster as well. And we'll talk about other transfers. Just want to float through the comments to do with Beto or Beto or Better or Better, Betty, whatever you want to call him. Paul saying he's going to be a beast. Love the positivity. Peter saying it's one thing having a good player, but he doesn't. Does anyone trust Dyche to use him properly? You know what, Peter? I absolutely going to give Dyche the benefit of the doubt. I think there's a plan. I was very wound up after the Wolves game. I watched a lot of it back. We played really well for large spells, and we just got sucker punched, and that's because we can't finish. And defensively, we need to tighten up. But I think once we get that striker, I think we'll be okay. And that's not blind optimism. That's just trying to be calm. Ask me again in another 10 games, and my position may change. David says Gomez has got another Portuguese friend, and Virginia and Chimiti. But it's interesting, actually, that, Rob, Thelwell was in with all the Portuguese contacts, wasn't he, when he was at Wolves?
And yeah, big time.
He likes his Portuguese.
Yeah.
Amanda says, we call for us to buy a striker, and we do have doom and gloom merchants in the chat. What do you want? I think we have to use this opportunity to be excited. I don't think we can use this opportunity to be negative. And Mike says he's going to be a handful. He's going to shock some PL defenses. I believe he will, Mike. I'm optimistic about this guy. I really am. I think we'll be okay. Eugene saying we're going to get more players in transfer deadline day. Of course, Eugene. On Friday, I'm hoping to do a stream in the evening, and I'm hoping to have a rotating cast depending on who's available. I believe Jan will be on that stream with me at some point. Robbie, if you've got nothing better to do, if you can drop on for half an hour on Friday, if you've got plans, that's okay. We do like a deadline day show when we rotate. Jamie's not happy with your red top, but I can confirm it's orange.
Oh, trust me, Jamie, it's definitely Naranka, which is orange.
I can see it's orange from here. Italian clubs do it all the time, that boy, in terms of deferred payment. But JT has described it as a miracle. I mean, I was flabbergasted when I found out we were not having to pay anything till next year. But Robbie, can I just ask you, what happens next year? We've got Jack Harrison going back, or we have to buy him. We've got Dan Juma going back. We've got this guy we have to owe all this money to. You imagine it'll be at least 10 million. What's the plan?
I think the plan for next year is, if we've got to consolidate this year, haven't we? We've got to ensure we stay in the Premiership, and then obviously next year, if you were looking at Everton and you were somewhere around the planet, you'd be looking at the stadium you're going to be playing in, and the fact that we've had negativity behind us, and with a project which is going to be more positive, more dynamic, with money there from a takeover or whatever, because I do believe at some point there's definitely going to be a takeover. So I think next year it's like,
But will we have the money to pay for these players next year? I'm not necessarily talking about cash flow in the bank. I'm even talking about FFP. Are we far away from those kind of tragic 2017, 18, 19, 20 seasons now? Are we coming away from that where the losses won't impact us, to say, actually, if we do have the cash in the bank, we can chuck the 10 million at the sky because it won't impact the books as much? Is it basically a case of we need another 12 months to pass in this league without spending too much, and then we can? And if that's the case, could we get maybe 1 or 2 more players, similar style of deal?
Possibly from Europe, but I don't see anyone here in the UK having a bit of that. I think it's something that's you've only got to see with some of the other players that we've been interested in for weeks and weeks and months, and you just can't sign it, can we? Because they want the money up front. They're probably in the same position as us. FFP is sniffing around them. It's a little bit different.
A load of bollocks. It just absolutely load of bollocks. They're going to have to get rid of it with Saudi Arabia's money, unless they want all the players to pie off and the Premier League and all these leagues to could be completely weak, and they're going to have to do something about it because it's completely flawed. What makes me laugh, Robbie, I listen to TalkSport a lot. I listen to all the football shows. I listen to even our colleagues at other Everton channels. I listen to them. And Robbie, we definitely need to brand you. I think we need to brand you as our football expert. We need to give you like some sort of pseudonym or some alias where you come on and we can like refer to you and you speak with an authority and everyone hangs on everything you're saying. Quite literally.
I've been around a long time, Ryan. I've been around a long time. It's 55 years of watching true legends, and I use that word. You can't use that word too often these days, in all fairness. But in the past, the School of Science, I was watching it week in, week out, and it was absurd. It was just a dream. It was a pleasure. I'd be excited leaving my 2 up, 2 down house in Tocky to get on the 46 bus to go there. I used to wear scarves on my wrist. My season sitting in the top balcony, and it was just, it was awesome. We didn't used to win every week,
No.
In the 70s, we were struggling. Yeah, we were struggling, but much. Yeah.
Well, you had Bob Latchford and Billy Bingham. Sorry, is that right? The manager?
Yeah, Bob Latchford and Davy Thomas. They were for me. They were the duo that was just. I used to go away. My dad had a company car, right, and we were poor. I mean, we were poor. We had nothing. Yeah. He had a company car, and it was a 3-wheeler, and it was a company car. Everyone used to laugh at us. And he come home. He come home on Tuesday, and he said, "I'm taking it out tomorrow." And I said, "Where's that, Dad?" He said, "We're going to Luton." And I said, "Why are we going there, Dad?" He said, "Everton are playing tomorrow night." So we went to Luton midweek in a 3-wheeler, and I was asleep on the back of the seat coming home, and I've still got a broken back because the seat was like as hard as nails. We got beat 4-1 midweek, but they were. We would make. He was helping me to make memories. Luton midweek, and it was so. And you never forget. You never forget.
Of course. I haven't really got many positive memories apart from possibly the FA Cup final 2009, and obviously feeling distraught when we threw that game as a 16-year-old. Got my hopes up for winning a cup, and that's about it.
When Louis Sahar scored a goal in what? Was the first 2 minutes, wasn't it?
25 seconds, I think it was. Amanda Stevens says, is Selwell doing a good job? Well, I think if he manages to get out this window with those players that he's got, having not really spent anything, and he manages to get rid of Demarai Gray, who we're going to talk about in a moment. I think we will talk about him now, actually. And I'll refer back to the comments as they come in. So on Demarai Gray, if he manages to get rid of Demarai Gray, 12 million Al-Shabaab. Al-Shabaab, they haven't really spent an awful lot of money. They're one of the least glamorous teams by the looks of it in Saudi Arabia. Just looking at their squad, they haven't got the big names that the others have done, but they're taking a punt on Demarai Gray. And the talk at the moment, Robbie, is that the deal has stalled because of board member changes at Al-Shabaab, just as Demarai Gray had actually been convinced to go, because he wanted to play in the Champions League, according to an interview I'd seen around 2 months ago. He'd given an interview with Sky Sports saying he wanted to play in the Champions League. And then all of a sudden, this comes along. And I imagine it's probably around 150 grand a week, which is just extortionate for a player of his quality. I don't think he could turn that down. It could be even more. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more. We've got to get him out. There's talk of another club coming. That money could be cash up front, Robbie. And where would you like to see that money invested? Is it a right winger we need to replace Demarai Gray? And is that good business if we get 12 million for him?
Yeah, it's a great bit of business. And I mean, HMRC must be gutted because they're all getting on the Etihad flight and getting over there, aren't they? It's all tax free. £12 million. Do you know what? I'd try and screw them for 15 if I could, but there you go. That's just the way I am. But he's going. Even if it was because he was signing for Fulham, it was a done deal a few weeks ago, wasn't it? If you listen to the papers. So, but he's gone because he's not playing for us anymore. So the money's up front. What would you use the money for? I don't know. I don't know who I want to buy, and I don't know who you can get for that amount of money. As Sulemana from again, I'm just sort of moving it because obviously we're talking about wingers. The Gnotto one that seems to have fell foul, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's dead. He's played and scored for Leeds.
I think we're just doing a little bit of business with Holgate to Southampton. I do believe that there's something in the pipeline down at Southampton, be it Che Adams or Sulemana. So that's what I'm thinking.
Sulemana is an interesting. Well, we linked with Bakayoko at PSV. He's a right winger. He's got pace and strength, but he's agile, good movement, good finish, good pass. Got everything you want really from a player in that position. Young Belgian international. I think he potentially could come to Everton, but there's lots of interest. Burnley have already had a bid rejected. PSG apparently are interested as well, and plenty of other clubs. And Rangers are actually still playing against them I think it's tied 2-2 in the Champions League qualifier or Europa. I'm not quite sure, but they won't sell him until after that anyway. How long is that? I think must be Tuesday or Wednesday this week. So then he might be available, but it seems like a difficult deal to get done with lots of other clubs who might have ready cash to go. I feel like Everton obviously are holding back some money. They must have something. They've not spent anything so far in terms of actual money out the door. The Samuel Smith money came in and the Ellis Sims money came in. So I imagine we're at net zero or less. But hi, Jasmine. We're at net zero. So I think we're holding some money back for a player like that, Bakayoko, who could come in. I think there might be some surprises. We've been linked with Harry Maguire. Apparently a loan deal for Maguire was rejected by Man United. I imagine it would have been we'll pay a 50% of his wages and take him off your hands kind of deal. I think that sort of deal only becomes really relevant and sort of a genuine option that Man United would consider around deadline day once all other opportunities had been exhausted for him. But he is a player that I think would improve us. One that I also thought would have improved us is Romelu Lukaku. He's gone to Roma now. 7.5 million euros. 7.5 million euros in wages for the striker. Roma, of course, lost Tammy Abraham to a serious injury. He won't be back till March or April. And so Lukaku provides more than adequate cover for them. I think the wages, 7.5 million for 10 months. The way I look at it is Andre Gomez and Jean-Philippe Gbamin at Everton earn more than that combined. And it irritates me. And I know that Chelsea have received a 5 million euros loan fee for Lukaku, but I would have loved to have seen him back at Everton, regardless of Beto. And I think clever business would have been to get rid of Gomez and Gbamin and reinvest it. I'm not even saying Lukaku, but another potential player you could look at on loan. Scott McTominay at Man United. It's Calvin Phillips at Manchester City. And these are two players that I think could come available closer to the deadline for a loan deal, perhaps. So we'll keep fingers crossed with that. And you can join us on deadline day for that show, and hopefully we'll have some surprises. And I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but that is kind of where I'm at with the update. Hopefully Demarai Gray gets over the line. Obviously Lukaku's not coming to Everton now, and Calvin Phillips and Maguire available on loan, potentially close to the window. I wonder whether Maguire will go back in for him. We've been linked with Elvedi, Borussia Mönchengladbach. I'm not going to pronounce that.
It's Borussia Mönchengladbach.
There you go. That's why we've got our football expert, Robbie P, on the show. Can you tell us anything about the centre-back?
Well, he's got 47 caps for his country.
Yeah,
He's played 270 games for Borussia, scoring 14 goals with 8 assists, and his pass completion rate is 91.2%.
I love this. He's done his research. This is exactly what we pay him the big bucks for.
So if you compare his pass completion rate with 91.2%, Michael Keane's only 71.9%. So our friend Elvedi is right up there with central defenders. He's played 8 seasons.
Backwards. He's been compared with John Stones.
8 seasons in the Bundesliga. Kind of like an ever-present. Can put his foot on the ball. Likes to play short passes, by the way. and if you look at him and you look at his faults, there's nothing from the statisticians that say he's got any major faults. His current value is 15 million euros.
So he's a well-rounded centre-back with a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you watch football games and you watch, Switzerland, they play quite exciting football. And it was only when we were linked with him, I thought to myself, oh, that's that fella who I thought was quite cool when he would put his foot on the ball, have a little look around before he plays the pass, not just well here upfield, I'm not disrespecting any of the players that we've got at the moment, but we've clearly got I don't know who our defensive coach is, by the way.
No, I don't know. And our goalkeeper coach is this something we should be sussed about? The goalkeeper coach, Robbie, which while I'm on that now, the penalty that Jordan Pickford gave away at Aston Villa was a bit comical, and then I think that was playing on his mind why he didn't come out to catch that one against Wolves. And we haven't got the same goalkeeping coach now. We've got Alan Kelly's on gardening leave, or he's something's happened with him. I'm not quite sure. I know I've completely changed the topic, but
yeah. Jordan. We all rate Jordan Pickford. We know he's got every goalie's got a little mistake, but he seems to have chilled it a little bit. He still gives his defence loads of verbals, doesn't he? But he doesn't appear to be as erratic. All the teams kind of want to play out from the back now, don't they? Obviously, I go back many years ago when it was like the goalie got the ball and it was like, get it upfield for your number 9, lay it off to Davy Thomas and bang, Bobby Latchford to put it in the back of the net again. Now it's a little bit more continental style. Maybe not as sexy as it was years ago, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, the goalkeeping coach side of things, I don't know, but Jordan, in all fairness, whether the goalkeeping coach is off on gardening leave or what, for me, he should have enough experience to be able to train and do the business and do the drills, because he knows the score. He is well switched on, Jordan, I've got to say.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but I'm not using it as an excuse.
No. He didn't get a good rating on a lot of our colleagues' channels, really, for the game against Wolves. And you look at him between, he just needed to do what I think the Wolves goalkeeper was doing all game, which is just coming out and catching it and being brave. And like Martinez did when he injured Calvert-Lewin, he's just doing his job, but it's disappointing, really. There's so many comments coming in, all kind of all over the place with different topics. We'll keep it like a bit of an open forum, but just before I do that, would you take Harry Maguire then if that was on the table?
We've offered 25% of his wages. He's on £190,000 a week, so 50%. No, we've offered 25, and a man you are probably thinking you're having a laugh, aren't you? He will go by Friday. He's not staying at Man United, but yeah. I think there'll be other teams that would come in and go, yeah, go on then, we'll pay 50% of his wages. Whether we up our 25 to 50, I don't know, but £190,000 a week. I mean, he secured himself a good little deal there. It's for me. He clearly wants to play football. He's not loved at Man United. He's got to go somewhere. Would they have him? If we signed Elvedi and we've got Branthwaite, then I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. We don't need
Back
Maguire
up.
if we get LVD, but I think it's either or.
Yeah, okay. So if we lose LVD and that's all we can get, then yeah, I'll take him. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that, Robbie. Smart enough, because I think some people go, no, he's a clown, but he doesn't need to be the level of a top. Man United want Champions League; they want to win the title. He doesn't need to be that level at Everton. He needs to be, mid-table, lower mid-table. That's where we are at the moment, and we'll revisit things hopefully in the future. And we just have to accept that. We just want a stress-free life. Robbie, then before I go to an open forum in the comments. Doncaster is on Wednesday. I'm not necessarily going to do a preview for that game, I don't think. I might let someone else do it. Hello again. What is your team then? That game?
To be honest with you, Ryan, I actually don't know what I've got at the moment, because I'm thinking Sheffield United is going to be our strongest team with having 0 points on the board.
Yeah.
So I would be, do we want to run in a cup, or do we want to survive in the Premiership this season? So we go to Bramley-Moore Dockham, we're still in the Premiership. For me, I would sacrifice. I don't say we want to go and turn up and not turn up.
Can't lose to Doncaster though, really.
No, I would play a mix of some of the youngsters who were in pre-season. I'd want to play some of them, because I don't want to risk.
The squad's thin, isn't it? The squad's really thin.
Yeah.
To help you out, I imagine Ben Godfrey will start at centre back with Michael Keane. Sorry, Mason's gone. Thank God.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
Yeah.
But he will be back next season. Godfrey and Keane, but I think Branthwaite again. I'd play Branthwaite. I'd just give him a run of games. He's a young lad. He probably wants to play Branthwaite and Godfrey. I'd change it up. I don't know who else we've got at right back. He'll end up Patterson again then. Pickford in goal, or Virginia. I think you could play Virginia in this game if you want.
I think he play Virginia. I think he will.
Get Mikolenko back in at left back. Let's see how he gets on. And in midfield, we haven't really got fringe players like a Tom Davis or an Andre Gomez fit. It's a worry, isn't it? So maybe you have to give Decore and Onana half, and then Garner and Gay the other half of the game, and just do 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and hope they come in scathed. And I don't wings, Robbie. I'm desperate for them. I think we've got strikers. I think we've got Mope, Beto, and Chimiti.
Yeah.
But we've only got Lewis Dobbin and Danjuma on the wings again. Iwobi won't be fit, McNeil. Or
would you not go 4-4-2 and play Dobbin and Tom Cannon up front?
You don't need to play Dobbin up front. It'll be needed on the wing.
Well, okay, sort of two strikers, but use Dobbin, and I wouldn't play Danjuma.
No, I wouldn't either. We shouldn't have to. But I'm just looking at the lack of options. Let us know in the comments what your team is, because we're struggling here to pick 11 players that are on the cusp, without jeopardising that Sheffield United game. But Sheffield United will also probably be playing in the League Cup, will they? But then they might have a bigger squad.
Yeah,
go on.
Go on. No, go on.
You go on, sir.
Go in the comments. Go in the comments.
Comments, yeah. David, it's an open forum now, guys. Thanks so much for sticking with us. We've had good fun. We'll be here for about 15 more minutes, and then it's bedtime. Bobby said, looks like he's 6'4". Yeah. You're not 6'4", are you, Rob?
Yeah, used to be, but when you get to 33, you need to know this. You'd actually shrink. I'm only 6'1" now.
Sean says, don't we do Twitter Spaces? Yes, we do, but we prioritised this one tonight because, I'm going to go into it. Scouser Rich is saying, ignoring that Maguire's too expensive. He's a traditional Everton type. He is. And also, I said this about Conor Cody, as a right player at probably the wrong time. 2 years, 3 years too late. David is not a bank holiday where he is, of course. He's writing papers and he doesn't want to get distracted by Follow Everton. I do apologise, David, but follow Everton comes first. JT, I tried to remind myself the goals were waved off in the Fulham and Wolves games. We could just easily have had 2 points after 3 matches. Beto is a strange mix of Antonio and Lukaku. That's from Dat Boy. John saying, knowing Everton, they'll wait till 11 p.m. on deadline day to announce Beto. Robbie, it wouldn't surprise you, would it? We get so they hold off on this announcement. Nothing happens for 5 days. We're all just desperate for Beto by that point because we've been dragged out. And then they announce Beto to
I don't think they'll do that with Beto.
No,
I think
they won't.
No, he'll be boxed off. He'll be doing his videos now, so that'll be announced. Be announced tomorrow. That and I am genuinely hopeful that another 3 signings will be coming by Friday. I am.
Me too, guys, and that's why you should watch the deadline day show on Friday and subscribe right now because we will get players.
Yeah.
Rob saying, good evening from Belfast. Beto looks like a good signing. I hope he plays on Saturday. I think he will. Neil said, it's a good signing. 10 to 15 players in the Championship next season. How very, very cynical from Neil. A rest, buddy. Kadeem is saying, Neil Michaels, let's give the guy a chance. I agree, Kadeem. Neil's one of our regulars, but I think he needs to hold off the negativity for now. Everyone's breaking FFP rules. What's the point? That's from JT. Good point. Look at Forest, the business they're doing, and Bournemouth and all these clubs. They'll invest. And you know what? If nothing comes of it, then they won't be able to keep investing because they'll be losing money or they won't be making enough money to justify it. So our time will come again and their time won't. Let's be patient. But they're also looking to sell Brennan Johnson at Forest to Tottenham for 50 million. So you can see why. Just want to briefly mention West Ham. I think West Ham's business has been exceptional in this transfer window with getting 100-odd million for Declan Rice, who's overrated for me. He's an exceptional player, but not worth 100 million in that position. And the way they've bought the players, Kudus and Alvarez, these players, Ward-Prowse, it's like what we should have done when we sold Lukaku the first time. 75 million, right? I'm getting 3 25 million pound players that improve us in one striker, one midfielder, one defender. And we didn't, and we cocked it up. Absolutely cocked it up. But credit to West Ham, I think they'll be well out of it. Dave Breen is saying, one of our regulars, love that picture. Lads, why aren't we talking about filling the left back or right back berth? Young and Michaelenko not up for it, and we can't keep waiting for Shamey or Patterson. Well, before bringing Robbie on this, there's nothing to say that Coleman will come back at a high level. There's nothing to say that Patterson will improve, but I think he will. And at left back, I think that's more of a pressing problem for me because I don't think Michaelenko can cross the halfway line or offer anything in the final third, nor has any pace. And he's only marginally better in a 1v1 than Luca Dean, who was castrated at Everton. And then Ashley Young, who was basically Wolves' best player in the game the other day. Every pass was straight into the goalkeeper. I don't want to watch Ashley Young again. I'm already writing the guy off. I'll get slated for this. I don't really want to see him. So I'd love a left back who can bomb on and provide that width. Certainly if someone like Danjuma plays left mid who doesn't want to be there, wants to drift in and create things. Robbie, where do you sit with the full backs? Where's your position at the moment?
Well, we spent that much money and wasted it in the past that now we're having to scurry around and see how much money is available in our piggy banks. And the strike is the issue, isn't it? And also a winger. So I don't see the funds being available for, I'm not saying I don't want one or a Michaelenko replacement, but I just don't see, in this window, I don't see it coming. So to be honest with you, it's a cracking point, but maybe let's have another chat about it on Friday on deadline day. But I just can't see it coming. I see players coming, but I don't see a left back or a right back coming.
Are you just prioritising there? I mean, I personally am. I'd love a left back. I'd love a centre back. I'd love a midfielder who can pass the ball and score a goal like a Sigurdsson style or a Barkley style. I'm not saying them players before someone kicks off in the comments. I'd love a right winger who's with pace, who gets down the touchline and pulls it back and can whip a ball from deep. I'd love that so much. I mean, I'm prioritising, and I'd probably say, I'd come to you, Robbie, and get your opinion. I'd love a left back, love centre back, love a midfielder. I love a right winger, possibly love another striker. But if I'm prioritising, for me, it's right side midfield, the player with the pace who can cross it from deep and get to the byline and supply Beto. And then I'd probably say centre half, because I think if Mikalenko could just be a steady Eddie again, and you can get a centre back in who can just stop the rot, stop the mistakes. And then if we had more money, it goes left back. And then if I had more money, it go midfield, just because I think I think if we do play with wingers, I think the two holding midfielders will be okay, to just allow everyone else to push up. Robbie, what's your priority there then?
Yeah, a little bit disappointed at the moment with Tarkowski. I thought he was more. When I saw him playing for Burnley and he put Richarlison into the stands, and I thought to myself, wow, and he got away with it. Richarlison was rolling over in a bit of pain because he just cluttered him, and that's the way it used to be in the past. I kind of whether he's got to concentrate a little bit more, because his defensive partner has been Michael Keane, and he's thinking, well, I can't do that because I've got to make sure that he does that. He's already come out and said he's gutted that Cody's gone. So I think he probably enjoyed playing with him. I'm not saying he doesn't enjoy playing with Michael Keane, but
Cody's gone because he was a good defender and he's playing with Dross.
Yeah, whereas I see Branthwaite coming in now and potentially making that centre half slot his own. So if we get this lad Elvedi in, he's not coming here to play in the reserves. So I genuinely think that Tarkowski's position would be under threat with the Swiss lad that's coming in. So it'd be a nice little centre back pairing, Branthwaite and Elvedi. So we can't show any sentimental value anymore, can we? We've
got to be ruthless, yeah, absolutely. And he's been given the captaincy for the on-pitch captaincy with Coleman, so that also adds a little bit of a concern. I think we probably need to get Robbie a couple more light. Maybe a light behind you, Robbie, would be quite useful to the side of you. So we'll
waity. Let me just play with something. Carry on talking.
I could go to the comments. Oh, he's in his gym. He's absolutely hench, Robbie. You do not want to mess with him.
Is that too much?
So what light did you have on a second ago?
A little spotlight in the gym.
Can that not stay on as well?
Yeah.
And the one you've got on the front, can that be dimmed slightly?
Let me try it, because I've only just got it from Amazon today.
Why did you say Beto? I mean, you don't have to hold your phone.
Oh, lights, camera, action.
Is it doing different things?
It's just going dim it. A little bit like me. What's that like?
That's good. Yeah, that's perfect. We might need to illuminate the background with the tall one, but we'll work on that. We'll start a GoFundMe. Guys, I want you to leave in the comments here, like the video for wonderful Robbie, who's new to the show and is doing absolutely brilliant. And with 3 subscribers away from 2,450. So let's get 3 new people who are watching now. The 129 of you still live. Let's subscribe for us, support us, and we'll go through the comments. Let's whiz through, and Robbie, I'll pick out some that I think for you to come to, if that's okay.
Yeah, fine.
Hundreds again tonight. It's incredible. People comparing Beto with Lukaku. Goodison Blues is saying it's not on the Everton site, but it is done by all means. The deal is done. It's to be announced. Let's relax. He's signed. Amanda confirms it. The Blues saying I wouldn't judge him on highlights. I've watched Udinese a good few times. He's a real handful. I like that. Stuart agrees with you. He's not happy with Tarkowski. Peter says Howard Kendall didn't play football that way. He played out from the back too, Robbie. Wormy saying you can't judge off YouTube, but you can get an accurate idea. I don't know, Wormy. I think you can make anyone look good on YouTube. The guitar player, honestly, if Everton tried to play through the middle instead of standing or waiting and pass the ball quicker. Yeah, we were too slow at times against Wolves, but I think it's fatigue, and you've got to have 5 substitutions. The Blues is defending Tarkowski. Said he had a 5-inch height advantage on him, but the keeper should just come out, in my opinion. And why is the defense so deep for that goal? The Blues. Why was the defense in the 6-yard box? Stuart's thanking us for the stream. Thank you, Stuart. God bless. Toffee saying Bruce Willis is a blue nose, of course. Yes. Robbie is just an alias. He's been in many films. Our backline needs a break from Keane factor. I agree, Mike. Midfield is thin. The first team will have to play. That's talking about Doncaster. Amanda wants Beto against Doncaster. Onyango, the Blues and Mark are saying Onyango, Robbie, he's played at that level before. Is he someone that could come in there into that midfield with some more senior players?
Yeah, defo. I just couldn't think of his name before, and I was thinking of all players that were going to sign, but I like Onyango. It's definitely got potential.
Bulba Gloom, which is some sort of weird Pokemon character thing. Is it a mix between Bulbasaur and Gloom, by the looks of it? Too young for you, Robbie, mate. Kouyaté, yeah, you're the left winger at possibly, but I think Dobbin will get another go. Mr. Blue Skies is giving his team. He's going with Virginia, Mikalenko, Branthwaite, Godfrey Patterson, Onana, Onyango, James Garner, Lewis Dobbin, Kouyaté, and Chimiti. I think Chimiti's one that has to play. Certainly with Beto coming in and trying to get him up for the weekend. But I really hope we don't have a Dyche press conference where he's going, oh, Beto, yeah, he needs a few weeks of training and he's only just joined the group and he's a bit behind and all that. No, none of that, please. Flash the original doesn't want Ben Godfrey. I don't want Ben Godfrey, mate, but it's League 2, and if you can't cut it against League 2. Bulba, this is for you, Robbie. What if Beto turns into a Joel Linton?
Yeah. What if? But he won't.
Joe's talking about Doncaster away. Roy says Nika Elvedi is a class act, a steal at 15 million euros. And there's calls for Michael Keane to be a striker. Amanda's asking, should Patterson play on Wednesday? I think he will play on Wednesday purely because of the lack of options. The Blues is defending Young. He's saying he created 3 chances against Wolves from open play.
I do, Ryan. I do like Young. I do think he's going to offer us. He's a tremendous athlete. So I don't know what the state of play is with Mikalenko, the injury side of things at the moment. And again, and I've said it before in the other streams, there's so many things going on in his head with what's going on back home. That mentally in the Premiership, you can't afford to switch off because it's so demanding, and a split second can cost you. And he's got his family over in Ukraine, hasn't he? And I'm just cutting him a bit of slack, because how would we feel if that, God forbid, if that situation was with us? So we've got him. He's one of our players, but I'm just not sure at the moment with what's going on in his private life. That's my opinion.
Mr. Blue Skies wants Garner on the free kicks. He wants Young taken off it. And Mark says Dele Alli can whip a good ball in. Yeah, Neil Michaels has corrected me. He wasn't castrated, he was castigated. Luca D. So many comments. Peter Carey, good night, Peter. Crazy boy, I need all my players. Letting Cody still works, still hurts. I agree. We shouldn't have let him go, but we didn't have the players. I think we're crying out for Mina and Cody's stability and defense. And the fact, I watched a Cody interview today, and he actually still refers to Everton as we. We had a bad season. We haven't been good enough the last few years. You know, to me is, he's a blue, and we just scrumped it because we're in a financial mess. And probably said, I hope we said to him, look, we've got to prioritise different areas because we've got 4 of the centre backs and Branthwaite coming back. I hope you understand. I hope it was really amicable. Amanda loves the show. Amanda, thank you. And I notice you donate quite a bit to the channel as well on some of the streams. So we always appreciate that.
Nice one, Amanda.
Dave is saying Young and Coleman are the wrong side of 34, 35. It can't go on like this. Yes, but that's why we signed Mikalenko and Patterson.
Yeah.
Who are also struggling. Wormy saying Chimiti's not ready, but I thought he was good for a 19-year-old making his debut. Peter's saying 7-7 partners, fantastic. We can go from sanctioned oligarch to alleged kidnappers and extortionists. Hilarious.
I just love the humour. It's great, isn't
it? David is saying Danny Ings, thoughts. Robbie, what do you think?
Danny Ings, 31 years old, 370.
He's got the knowledge. How's he got the knowledge straight away?
374 career games, 123 goals and 39 assists. He can bang the ball in the back of the net. Only scored 2 for West Ham last season. We were linked with him in January, but I don't think we.
For West Ham last season?
2.
How many for Villa? Was it 6 or 8?
I think it was 8.
Robbie's sat. He's sat up here.
He knows where the net is. Would it take him on a loan? Yeah, at the moment, yeah, because at DCL, he's not going to be with us till maybe October. By then, we if our nil point continues. So I would take him, yeah. Making sure that his wages aren't stupid, by the way.
Peter's not happy. He said he's another Liverpool fan. Amanda Stevens saying Danny Ings can do a job. Mr. Blue Skies is not happy about that. And there's others who definitely want Danny Ings. And he's on a high wage, 125 grand a week. But of course, if that's a loan and it's paid for by West Ham, he wouldn't say no. As a fourth option or
Yeah, we're not in a position at the moment like a couple of seasons ago where we could go and shop in Harrods and it was a case of speak to the agent, name your price. Where did it get us? We've blown £500 million, gone up in smoke in the garden. So when you ask the question there, what you think about Danny Ings, I've got me heart and me head are completely different. I know who we used to play for, but we've got to forget that. I want to get to Bramley-Moore Dock and stay in the Premiership. So if that's all we're going to get, and Beto as a backup and a loan, then I'll take him. If you ask me, is he my number one target and I'm going to go out and buy him, then the answer is no. But I'll take him on a loan short term because Premiership-wise, 207 games, 70 goals and 21 assists. So that's kind of, it's better than anyone else that we've kind of been linked with. I know he's 31 again, and I know we've had quite a few injuries, but as a backup and someone who can score goals, then I'd take him at the moment in our current predicament.
And the alternative is Che Adams. There's still talk of him and Sulemana at Southampton as a right winger, and Che Adams is an option, but Southampton want quite a bit of money up front. That's something I could see developing, and maybe Danny Ings, as we talked about, could be an option on loan. We'll have to see, but the big wages there, and you imagine Che Adams is on small wages, so you can see who would prioritise. Talk ahead of Doncaster, obviously, Chimiti, Dobbin, and Cannon as a front three would be quite interesting. I'm not quite sure where Tom Cannon would play in that system, but normally we'd play some fringe players like your Andre Gomez's, and then you'd bring the big hitters, so to speak, off the bench. I'm not quite sure we have any big hitters anymore and who they would be. I remember Moyes, he would have Cahill on the bench, Arteta on the bench, Pina on the bench, and then if it was going badly, he'd throw them all on. to go and make sure we won the game. But I'm not quite sure we have fringe players, never mind the big hitters. And on that bombshell, I'm going to wrap things up because we've been on for an hour. Robbie, thank you for your time, as always. Great to chat. Great to hear from everyone on the stream. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't done already. We'll be back with the latest news. I'm hoping we'll hear from everyone else on Friday with the transfer deadline show, and also on Thursday with the preview for Sheffield United's game. Thanks, guys. Oh, we might do a match reaction on Wednesday night. He's completely frozen. Oh, Robbie's on the intro now. You'll see that coming up now. See you, Rob.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Been wonderful. See you, Ryan. Enjoy yourself.